What is up, my fellow mobile gamers? In today's video we have our clan tier list. Subscribe to the channel, thumbs up this video is greatly appreciated. I hate to do tier lists because people always argue and people are like, oh, this should be in this category, no, this should be in this category. Yeah, we're doing a tier list. We're gonna have some people hate on our tier list in the comments. I already know. Let's jump into it. First one we got is Sally Horn, the most lackluster clan in the game. I think this is probably the weakest clan. I've used them a bit. In fact, I have a mythic Sally Horn female, and she's always the first one to get destroyed. It literally feels like it doesn't contribute at all anything to the battle. So because of that, unfortunately, we're going to have to go ahead. We're going to have to put Sally Horn in the D category. I mean, I just feel like this is one of the weakest clans in the game. We're not going to go over the male and female differentiates, because there are certain versions that are better. Like there are some clans that have the male version is better than the female, or the female version is better than the male. We'll do that in a different video. This is strictly just as a whole, the whole clan tier list. Karg is one of the clans that you can use to make the hybrid. You actually need a Karg and a Fulgar. You make that electrified looking champion. Actually, if you do the tutorial, the marriage tutorial goes ahead and shows you. Karg is one of the better ones. Really good, not necessarily the best, but I would say definitely above the rest. So for that, I would put Karg in A tier. Very solid. Like if you get like a legendary Karg or a mythic Karg, I mean, don't feel like you shouldn't level them up, star them up. Next up, we are taking a look at Trevane, I think it is. The archer clan. You got the archer female and the archer male. These are again, these are one of the lower tier clans. Again, I really didn't enjoy them. Their abilities are not really the strongest. A lot of them have to do with just kind of increasing their attack speed, where it's like they do like 3 quick normal attacks in a row. There's just better damage dealers in the game. So because of that, we're gonna go ahead and put them in the C category. I wouldn't put them in the D because I don't think they're like god awful. But they're definitely something that I wouldn't necessarily level up. Like if you want to take this tier list to kind of help you out for team building, I would say if you have any characters from B and then above, they're definitely worth investing in. And what I mean by investing in, I mean by like starring them up, ascending them, using all your materials to ascend them. Whereas like the D's and the C's, they're kind of like, you really don't want to waste a lot of materials on them. They can be okay early game, but in the long run, they're characters that really aren't going to be able to carry you into like the later games, especially like PvP arenas. All right, next up we have Yevonine, the assassin, male and female. Now these ones aren't horrible, but they're not also like the greatest. They have like really unique abilities. In fact, the male has the ability, and this is one of the characters that you get like at the beginning of the game, where it teleports behind the enemy with the highest energy and casts Shadow Sting, depletes all of their energy. So they have some really unique abilities like that are very situational. So like overall, they're not like super strong where you can always get away with using them. But they're not like horrible to the point where they're not useful, right? They're useful in certain situations. So because of that, I would go ahead, I put them in like the B category. So it's kind of like the middle category. Next up, we have the Kargok. I can't say these names. I would say this is probably in like the C category. The abilities for them are really, again, very lackluster. They're supposed to be kind of like tanks. Next up we have is Ignis, the pyro male and female. They are ridiculous damage dealers. More importantly, you can pair both the male and female up together in one single team, and the synergy is absolutely insane. The male goes ahead and puts burning effects on all of the enemies with all his different abilities, and then the female has the firestorm ability, which you'll see the fireball go bouncing back like a damn pinball, and then it just explodes and does ridiculous amounts of damage for every burn stack on someone. Clan is just absolutely insane for that. We're putting them on S tier. Next up, this is one of my favorites, another one of my favorites, the Luxuriants, the Luxuriant. I'm just gonna call them the Lux. The male and the female. Now they both have very, very unique abilities. The male has the ability which banishes an enemy, which kind of makes them unable to attack, and also your team can attack them as well. And then the female version has the ability to charm. Because of that, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put them in the A tier. Very close to S tier. It's tough. Like I would not argue with someone if someone was to say that they were belonging in the S tier, because I think they're between like an S and an A. I can't tell you how many times frustration. I know a lot of you have felt this when you're in the campaign missions and you go up against a female, and sometimes they got like 2 of them in there, and they're charming your team like crazy, and you can't do anything. It's one of the most annoying skills in the game. Next up, we have the Zayas. This is another clan that's not super OP, but also not the worst. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put them in like the middle category, the B. I really like the AoE damage that the male version has. Next up we have is the Urgul, another solid melee damage dealing clan. In fact, this is another character that you get at the very beginning of the game. You get the female version. She has our favorite ability, the spin to win. She goes ahead, she spins in a circle with her axes, and all the damage she does, she heals up. Again, this is another very, very strong character early game. The female version can carry you a very long way just based on that one skill, because she's doing damage and healing up very, very fast. We're gonna put them in the B category. Next clan we have is the Elzedith. But yeah, they're really nothing that's overpowering. We're gonna go ahead, put them in the C category. Definitely not the worst, but you know, not really that great either. Next up we have the Aisen. This is your solid team for healing support. I would go ahead and put them in like the B category. They're about average, not the best, not the greatest. Next up we have the Doombringers. Now, both the male and female version are very, very strong. They both have passive abilities that give them life steal. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put them in the S category. Next, moving on, we got the Fulgur clan. I think that's how you say it. Again, together, the male and female also have very good synergy as well. We're gonna go ahead, we are gonna put them in the S category, another amazing damage dealer. Next up, we have Lionstone. Now, this, I'm gonna say, is the best tank in the game. The other tanks are like D and C category. If you need a solid tank, the Lionstone is your #1 pick. Both the male and the female version, you honestly can't go wrong. The male version has some ridiculous amounts of shielding. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put the Lionstones, they're in our S category. Next up, we have the Huntsdorf, another archer clan. This one is really weak to put them in like the D category. Again, they were another clan that I just didn't enjoy. Like I felt like they were so weak. Next up, we have Tidestorm. I would say the female version is a bit better than the male version. She has some amazing things like blind, where she blinds the enemy for 3 seconds and all of their normal attacks just completely miss. They're one of the better ones. As you've seen, a lot of the other archer clans we put in like the C category or the D category. This is like the best one. I would go ahead, I'd put them in like the A category. I'd say they're like above average. Next up, we have the Grofin. They just really don't bring anything to the table. They are a melee warrior. I would put them in like the D or C category. You could literally put them in either one of these. I'll put them in the D. Finishing up, we got our last 2 clans, the Lycans. Really cool. Like they're really cool looking characters, right? They're werewolves. They look cool. The artwork is nice, but they're really actually weak. That I would say for new players is you're gonna see that pack pop up where like you get these werewolves for spending a certain amount of money. You'll get the wolf companion for $30. And then on your first purchase, you get the male Lycan, and I think he's like a 3-star. You really don't have to. These aren't like great characters to really have. Definitely on the weaker side. The male version dies pretty fast. In fact, I have like a legendary version of him, and I had to take him out of my lineup. Early game, they carry you though. I will say that, like early game, the first like 4 or 5 chapters, they're definitely really strong. But once you get to like chapter 6, chapter 7, they really start to fall off. I would put them in like the C category. And then finally, we have the Loom. This clan has not actually been unlocked yet in the server I'm in, so I don't have anything to really go off of it. But just going based off of their skills and what they say, I would say they're a pretty solid healer. I would put them in like the A category, just on my first impressions of it. When I do unlock them and they come out to the server, it could go up or it could drop. So just keep that in mind. But as of right now, first impressions, A category. Sure, you agreed with some of them, disagreed. That is okay. Leave your comments and thoughts down below. Stay happy, stay safe, my friends. I'll see y'all later. Peace.